Guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Wimbledon. If you're still enjoying the series, of course, smash the like button. If we get 400, that'd be amazing. Now, just roll my sleeves up because we've got a lot of stuff to dig into. Before we do anything, you'll notice we're actually going to be playing Real Madrid in today's game. It's the European Super Cup or whatever it's called. Now, because of that, I had a choice. Either I did the first Premier League game, which we already played, and I'll explain that in a sec, or we do Real Madrid. And I just thought, you know what, it's Real Madrid. It'd be much more fun to start off with against Real Madrid than it would away at Spurs. So I've played the first game already. However, I don't have highlights for it because I was doing it while I was doing my transfer stuff, and you know the way I do that, so I couldn't actually record anything. But we'll talk through that in a sec. But first I'm going to show you the players we've brought in and everything, all that jazz, because there's no point in me showing you the highlights before, showing you what I've done before I actually show you the players. And we've had a very busy summer. Believe me, ins and outs. I think this is the most, we've broken our record transfer out by miles this summer as well, so expect big things. So cue the music. Let's get into the transfers coming in first. Actually, no, screw it. Let's show the transfers coming out first. That way you guys can see who's left and you see where I got the money from for everyone else. Right, I'll join you guys in a sec. Let's just get going. First things first, Aaron Cresswell. He went out. We've probably, I think we got about 600,000 for him, which is not bad considering he was on like £41,000 a week as well. It was decent to get him off the books basically because we just needed to get some players out, and he's one of the ones that's left. He has gone and joined Blackburn Rovers. Next up leaving was Josip Biskup. He only spent 1 year at the club, and I think he was just a failed signing in every possible aspect of the word, really. We shipped him out to Bournemouth for 1.2 million. I know that he probably cost us more than that when he joined us. I think, let's see how much we actually paid for him in the first place. We paid 3.1, which was a huge error, but that's just one of those things, isn't it, guys? You sometimes have to take a loss on players. Mark Anderson, he left the club on a free transfer at the end of the season. I just wasn't happy with his performances anymore. I just felt like we could do better than him, and as a result, he left the club, obviously got rid of the wages too, and he's joined Konyaspor on a free transfer in the end. Tobias Agar, a player who, well, we had a really good time with in the early days, has joined Icor, or AIK, again, on a free transfer. I just didn't think there was any place for him in the team anymore, not with what we've got, so I just felt like he probably should do it just moving on in the end. Nenad Planic has joined Arsenal. I mean, you saw how he was just not really developing. He was the weakest performer of just about all of our defenders, and I just didn't see the point in keeping him around any longer because I just didn't think he was going to be the player that we expected him to be, basically. So I thought, you know what, if we can get any money for him, the better, because he was worth about 6 million. Well, Arsenal put in a bid of 12, and I thought, you know what, let's just try and push this. If I can get a decent money for him, I will sell him. 30 million. He has moved to Arsenal for 30 million. It says 27.5 or whatever, but there's a few more add-ons that they'll get within like 10 matches. So yeah, £30 million for Nenad Planic. I bit their hand off at that, really, because I just didn't think that he was going to be that good for us this year, and to get a chance to actually sell him to a team better than us, they obviously saw something that I don't. Maybe it's a mistake, but 30 million quid we got for Nenad Planic, so that's a massive one. The final big transfer out is Carlos. Now, you know I said I was going to try and do something like this, and what I've done in terms of players in, you'll see in a minute, because I did look around for shadow strikers, and I just couldn't seem to find any. However, I've come up with an alternative solution, which I think is going to work a treat, but I was really unsure of whether, nobody put a bid in for Carlos, basically. I saw that Bayern were interested, but nobody actually put a bid in, and I was worried about offering him out in case it upset squad harmony, because they'd be like, why are you trying to force me out of the club? But in the end, I thought, I thought to myself, we've got decent squad harmony at the moment. We just signed up players to new contracts, and believe me, there's some big contracts. Like Fabio's on huge money now, but I had no choice. He's on like 150 grand a week. But again, no choice. So I thought, you know what, let's just see if we can offer him out. The moment we offered him out, I decided to offer him out for 35 million because, we bought him for 15, and it just made sense, basically. I didn't want to end up putting it too high because then no one would bid. Lazio came in instantly, bit our hand off, 35 million, deal, bish bash bosh, done. And I got 71,000 off the wage budget as well. And a player that is a fantastic player. I have the utmost respect for him, but he was never going to be able to flourish in a system where he was being forced to play as a shallow striker with his 7 finishing. It just wasn't to be. Whereas now we can play Fabio there and a new boy up front. So yeah, let's now take a little look at the players that we've brought in. The fun part. So first things first, this was just simply one where this was one of the ones I signed later in the window. This is Les Campbell. He's coming from Norwich for 7 million, I think, in the end. Now, he again, he's one for the future. He's British, which is the main reason I was interested in him. He's got fantastic little hair stuff going on, which is always lovely. But yeah, I just thought, like, he's one for the future. Les Campbell, he's English, so he fills up another bit of quota on that one, which is kind of important. So it was more of a case of me just sort of filling holes in that one to make sure we had lots of backup because, the likes of Colin Murphy and that still not really going anywhere. And Adam Kirk, I might let go at the end of the year. But that's Les Campbell. Next up is Makula. Now, I said I wanted to go out and spend big on a left back, and that's exactly what I tried to do. Now, I looked around and I basically went to myself, right, what's the best left back that I could physically see in my scouting reports and some that were a bit hazy? And I thought, you know what, we've not been to Brazil for a little while for a player since Carlos, I don't think. So I thought, you know what, we're going to go back there, particularly with Carlos moving on, although this happened before that. I thought, let's just go through it. This is Makula. He's coming for, I think, 9 million. I think there's more to come in installments, but not that much more. I think there's only about another 6 million to come on him. So I think he's a decent player. He's got gets forward whenever possible there, which is, you know, but he will look for passes. He's got that sort of dribbling ability, which is nice. That I am a little bit worried about, but still, I think he's a decent left back, and he's certainly better than playing Achabar there, and he's a lot better than the likes of Cresswell. He actually has okay heading, but his jumping reach is pretty poor. But I think he's still a step up, and I think he will make our defence a lot stronger. However, as you can see, he does have a double hernia. Even though I didn't think he was particularly injury prone, they certainly didn't identify that. I think it might just be a bit of bad luck. We generally get one injury that costs us a bit in pre-season. It just seems to happen every year, and it's Makula this year. But thankfully, we can push Gomez into left back because we've got some centre backs to talk about. First centre back I brought in, this is Moha. He's a Moroccan-Dutch international. We brought him in from PSV for £19 million. Now he's got decent heading, decent marking, decent tackling, the trifecta, decent determination, but he's also got decent decisions and relatively good, you know, great positioning. He's got decent jumping reach. He's not stupidly slow. He's very strong. And he's got room to improve as well. So I was very pleased with him. He's great in the air. He's not exactly slow either. He's got that great defending and physical. Mental stats aren't bad either. His vision isn't superb, but these are areas where I'm not that bothered about from a central defender. So I was very, very pleased to bring him in. He's been a huge outlay, but then when you get rid of Planic, this was of course before that, and with Anderson going out as well, I really wanted to get a decent centre-back partnership going, but we've actually brought in 3 centre-backs this summer to really strengthen that area, and he is one of them. The second one, yeah, I signed him for 2 reasons. One, because he's English. Sorry, for 3 reasons. One, because he's English. 2, because he isn't that bad potential-wise, it would seem. So he looks like he could improve a bit in the future. And 3, because his name is Warren Millington. I mean, really, I couldn't help it. I could not help it. Like, the fee could eventually rise to 20 million, but we're actually paying 12 up front, which again feels like a lot for a player that I don't think is worth as much as that. But again, sometimes you've got to take those hits to sign English players to keep within your quotas and all that jazz. So, and the name alone, I think he was worth. So that's Warren Millington. He'll probably be 5th or 6th choice, along with sort of Kevin Stoyle this year. But to bring him in, I felt it was a good decision anyway, and we had that extra cash available, and he's not on huge money anyway, so why the hell not? Long contract as well, with additions after that. The final centre-back I brought in is this lad. This is Joseph Zisser. Now, I showed you guys him in the... I think I showed you guys him in the analysis episode yesterday. Now, I couldn't remember if it was the same guy that I'd had a look at before, but because he didn't say it was scouted, I'm guessing he wasn't the same guy, but there was another guy that I looked at that was Austrian, and I thought it was him, but the fact is, I sent the scout out to look at this guy anyway, and my god, you can see why Villa were interested in keeping hold of him. He's got short passes, no through balls, stays back at all times, which is great. He's got good determination, heading, marking, tackling's a little bit lower. He's still decent in the air, but not quite as good as some of the others, but I still think there's a lot to be said about this lad. 3.5 stars with a bit more potential after that. He's cost us in total 34 million, which is a lot because we had to sign him from Aston Villa, so they were going to play hardball. But I just felt like he's the reasonable enough player to bring in, and he's going to do a job for us. We've got Zissa, we've got Moha, we've got Gomez, and we've got the likes of Warren Millington. We've got a much better and obviously the likes of Bonnie as well are still here. So defensively, we are looking so much stronger because we've still got Manquillo at right back. I did look at a backup right back, and there's one I'm looking at from Uruguay, but he is much, much too poor of an overall level at this stage to actually do anything properly in that sense. So yeah, that's Joseph Zisser. The final player we brought in, we got ourselves a striker. This is Alexander Peter, and he's only 19 years old. He's German. We brought him in from Wolfsburg for, what was it, 28 million, I think, in total. Obviously, again, that's with the fees and stuff over many years. But he's got that 18 finishing, the 16 dribbling. Yes, okay, he's an advanced forward, but he's not a bad deep line forward. The only area where he's not superb is his passing. And even that is only a 10. But everywhere else, you can see he's a relatively good player in all those positions, which means he is going to be the main striker for us this year. And Fabio will play as the shadow striker. We've also then got Mateus to switch out for Peter, and the likes of Shane Williams to switch out for Fabio, as well as Kenneth van den Heuvel, who's come back from his loan spell. So it is looking very, very solid right now. So we're just going to take a quick gander now at the game that we did play, now that you guys can see. As you can see, we actually won 3-0 away at Spurs. We did get a red card though for Sam Farmer, but Alexander Peter scored twice in his first 12 minutes of his performance here, and Galfrescoli scored another free kick. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. It is fantastic, but of course Farmer's red card did not help us, but Spurs didn't get a chance to come back into the game, which was really good. So a 3-0 win away from home on the opening day at Spurs said a lot to me, because I was worried about our chances this year at actually getting into the Champions League again. But seeing that makes me think we've got a really solid team, and Salvi got 2 assists in that game, because of course he did. He assisted on both of Peter's goals from that right-hand side. I love having a player called Peter. It just sort of sounds like 2 first names, and I love that sort of thing. As you can see, Zissa, Moha, Gomez play with Manquillo, Masek, Salvi, Fabio, Baltam. It's a very good-looking side. And on the bench, we've got Achabar, Iceland, Mateus, Bonnie, Diallo, and Warren Millington. So all looking very good in that sense. Now, I think I've done a decent job with the signings. I think we've plugged a lot of gaps and improved the squad as a whole. Now, we've spent 118 million overall, but we've also recuperated a lot of that money through the big sales of Carlos and Planic. So it's not too bad. Now, we're going to get to the game today against Real Madrid. This is going to be incredibly tough. As you can see, balance is a bit low, profit is a bit low. We didn't get a points deduction or anything like that. Adam Kirk's failed a fitness test. Not really that bothered about Adam Kirk anymore. Match preview, that is today, yes. We're playing against Real Madrid, though. We're expected to do, I imagine, pretty poorly. I mean, it's Real Madrid. They are the reigning champions of... what? Masek's still suspended because of the final of the Europa League. That's a bit annoying. So we're going to go with Peter, Isla, Fabio, Salvi, Baltan, Farmer, Gomez, Mojar, Zissa, and Manquillo. My assistant keeps putting him in instead of... I don't know why. Adam Kirk, there's no way in hell he's going on the bench. And we will bring on instead... Today we're going to try out Shane Williams on the bench. So yeah, looking good. We're looking ready. I don't think we've got even the vaguest hope in hell of achieving anything against Real Madrid today. That is a given. But that's fine, because we're never expected to. Today, we're actually all good, because I did actually play I left the highlights on because I was playing the Spurs game on a different window. But the point is, I feel like... And again, apologies for that, but it's just the only way I could really do that and still do the Real Madrid game in today's episode. Or what are you doing? Not a chance. Look at this team. Donnarumma, Danilo, Pasquale, Varane, Rodriguez, Tapia, Kroos, Erdegaard, Rodriguez again. Different Rodriguez, of course. De Bruyne, Lukaku. Ronaldo's only on the bench, but I guess he is aging slightly. That would make sense. I'm going to just disagree with Steve around here and go for that. But yeah, so... I just figured you guys would rather see the Real Madrid game than the Spurs away game, just because it's a massive game. It's the biggest one we've ever played in a way. So let's just do this. Let's get in and have a little crack at it. See what we're capable of. We're expected to... We've got some quite high expectations. The board have certainly chopped things up this year. They actually reckon we are supposed to reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League this year in our first season. Bit of a stretch, but again, we don't know what group we're in. We're also expected to get into the Champions League in the league, which is, fair enough, I'd say, given that we finished second last year, so that's not unreasonable. However, they also expect us to reach the FA Cup final, which is a bit of a shitter, because I couldn't give a crap about the FA Cup right now. Not if it's going to affect our league form. De Bruyne, look at that, players back all over the place, but Rodriguez is through, and Galfrascoli can't get across, and within 2 minutes, Ricardo Rodriguez, the Real Madrid left-back, has given them the lead here. And I can't remember where we're playing, to be honest, but that's a shame. Then again, we're not expected. I don't expect us to be able to compete with the likes of Real Madrid yet. This year is all about us still strengthening our ties to maybe a Premier League and see where we can kind of go in the Champions League. Basically, I still think there's 3 or 4. What was that? Little shuffle without actually moving. Always impressive when a player can do that. No backlift at all because his leg didn't even move. Okay, apparently we're going to go a bit more mixed. I might actually put prevent short goalkeeper distribution on as a standard part of this tactic now. Actually, Baltam, can he get the ball to someone important, or will he just go and have a shot himself? He had a lot of time there. Real Madrid gave him a lot of time, surprisingly. I still think we're going to get our asses handed to us by Real Madrid today. De Bruyne, cheeky as all hell. 11 minutes gone, and De Bruyne makes it 2-0. Madrid are a fairly good side, I think. As long as this doesn't harm the confidence of the players too much. That would really suck if they were to get massive confidence dips. But I've put out the best... Look at that, lovely ball from Tapia. De Bruyne's up there, and Galfrascoli, maybe could have done a bit better, but still a great finish from De Bruyne. We've got a lot of possession, but it's only 11 minutes gone. Donnarumma to Pasquale. I don't know. I worry about our chances to get not get something from the game, but just to not embarrass ourselves. They look very, very strong. Look at this. Oh, dearie me. That high line is costing us today. I think we might have to drop a little deeper and try a slightly different approach in this one, if I can get a chance to. Are we still on extended or something? Nope. Okay. Moja to Zissa. We've got a completely new centre-back partnership this year, which is going to take a little while to bed in. I appreciate that. But with Gomez available as the left-back as well for now, he'll probably slot back in at centre-back once... Oh, my days. What are you doing, Salvi? Once Makula is back. Rodriguez again hopping forward here. I want to just get through this highlight so we can make some changes. Because there's no point in making them during the highlight in case something... like we score or something, which I don't see happening at this stage. De Bruyne round the side for Lukaku. Oh, over the bar. Right, okay, let's make that change now. I feel like they're getting in behind us too much, which means that we're obviously just drop a little bit deeper, close down a bit less, and get rid of the offside trap. That's... I might actually up the tempo, though, to get us a bit more... They're obviously going to close down a fair amount, so I want to make sure that we can move the ball around them a little bit better if we can. Isla. It's nice to see him getting some game time, of course, in the absence of Masek. Well, Masek basically being suspended gives Isla a chance to play, even though they don't play in the same position. Because, of course, Baltam is just a monster. I'm loving his work. Farmer's on a booking again. He got sent off very early against Spurs, which was a worry. Baltam again in the centre this time, back to Farmer. got a lot of possession here, Fabio. So it's through for Peter! He's offside. That was very, very tight, though. But Alexander Peter, clearly showing he's got a decent striking instinct. I think he had 2 shots against Spurs, and he scored both of them. He's very, very influential in that sense. And Fabio... Ooh, I don't even know if he was when the ball actually left Fabio's foot, but at least he put the ball in the back of the net. That shows me something. We really do need a good season out of Alexander Peter. I keep calling him Peter. I feel like Lois from Family Guy, which could be a thing. So, oh, God's sake. Fabio goes like the entirety of last season without picking up an injury, and like, well, Shaney Williams is going to come in. A groin strain. That actually feels like it could miss him a couple of weeks. Crap on a cracker. That's not good. That is really, really not good. But Shane Williams is certainly going to get a lot more football this year. That's what I would say. And he needs that, because I think this might be his last chance to really... like, his last season of a chance, because I've still got to decide whether to extend his contract or not. And I think that will depend a lot on how well he does this year. So, let's see. We're doing okay, actually. To be honest, we're making a lot of the headway in this one. But we've not taken our chances. We've not created enough from it. Oh, that's the wrong button. And that's a problem. So let's go to the right flank. I do wonder if now with Shane Williams in there, we might just lack a little bit in that extra attacking threat, but you never know. Plus with Baltan playing slightly deeper, we don't have that man at the far post, because Isler's not the best inside forward type of player. He's more of a creative influence. Alexander Peter not had the best game, despite putting one in the back of the net. Obviously offside. We've not exactly embarrassed ourselves, but I am thinking Alexander Peter off and Mateus on, and also Gomez off for Achibar, because Gomez is... oh, actually, no. What am I talking about? Sam Farmer's on a 5.6. Sammy boy. We're going to make triple sub now. Hopefully Achibar can do a little bit of a better job, because he's a very good player. Bayern put in a £35 million bid for him, and that's for a backup player. Oh, go on, Galfrascoli. Get there, Mohar. Galfrascoli. The fact that he actually scored a goal in the first game of the season was amazing. Mateus is through. Oh, what a save from Donnarumma. We're creating chances against Real Madrid. We're not looking outclassed completely. They've taken 2 good opportunities, that's what I would say. They've done well to score the goals they have. Isler. Ah, it's a poor first touch from him. But hey, you know, even if we were to lose this 2-0, as long as we've not been embarrassing, which, okay, Sam Farmer's performance was a little bit off kilter. City did put more bids in, but the most they would go to was 55 million. And of course, his release clause is 74 million. So I think we'll be okay on that front. Well, the transfer window will be up soon. And I don't see... no one's really putting any bids for our players lately, which is nice. Duarte actually came through in a scout report, which was really weird. Just to check out... oh, Mateus' header, and that is a goal back. Wow. Mateus... one thing, I was looking at the comparisons between Mateus and Alexander Peter, and Mateus is slightly better physically, and he's a little bit better in the air, but Peter has a way more... better... he has a much better sort of defensive mind. When you compare the two... hexagons or whatever, Peters is far better defensively than Mateus, and I think that's going to come in very handy when playing as that deep line role, because I think it means he'll win more tackles and quite important things that we do quite a lot in that role. So a 2-1 defeat to Real Madrid in the Super Cup is certainly not embarrassing by any stretch. Mateus off the bench to get a goal, but what I am worried about, of course, is Fabio. If he's injured to a more serious extent than like a week or so, we could have problems there. It's going to mean sort of the likes of Shane Williams and Van den Heuvel starting, which is a bit of a worry for me, to be honest, because that's sort of an area that, you know, we still couldn't really strengthen it a great deal in the summer, because, of course, with Carlos leaving, which I thought was still a good decision, I stand by that. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say that anyway, just because it would fire them up in theory. But we weren't that bad, really, frankly. There were some players, like Farmer was woeful, and he did make the mistake leading to a goal, which is a shame. But what can you do? So, next episode, guys, I think we'll have the draw for the next for the Champions League group stages in that episode too. Apologies if this episode's run on a little bit long, but I hope you can understand, again, why I couldn't show you the Spurs game properly, because just the way things all worked out. But that shouldn't really ever happen again, I don't think. It's just I thought it would be better to show you guys the Real Madrid game, to be honest. So, I still think there's a chance of maybe an outside hit of the title. Winning away at Spurs is a certain sign of that, but again, it seems like Real Madrid definitely... they didn't exactly dick on us, but they weren't exactly backwarding coming forward. So, what a start we've got. Everton, Liverpool, Man City, Man United. Fulham, then Chelsea. Oh my god, if we can come through that with some... this is going to be super difficult. Let's see. That's the 9th of September. I'm thinking maybe the Man United game, because that gives us a few games in between and a draw, because that's actually... over a month away still. So yeah, let's do the Man United game. We'll get a League Cup tie in there as well, I think, at some point. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this, please do drop a like on the video. That would be marvellous. And yeah, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in your inbox every single day at 7 o'clock. And I'll join you guys in the next episode for a game at New Plough Lane against Manchester United. We've got Everton, Liverpool and City in between there. If we can take some points from those games, I think City and Liverpool are away as well. That's going to be crazy tough, and hopefully that will get some of the big ones out of the way first. We can start catching up later. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.